on women health, the preventive methods that we can use to safeguard our health. So with that said, I have our panelists here, Sam Ceesay from Indiana and Alice from Germany. So Alice, I think we can go straight ahead about the lack of small businesses support, and we can explore that a little more so our people can get a grasp of it, and then we can dive in deep to explore it more. Thank you, Alice.
Yeah, Mr. Sawaneh, thank you very much. I mean, this is a very important topic, and I think the Gambia government should also recognize these people with their small businesses and know that they are the future even, you know, than to concentrate on one businessman or two businessmen who is making his imports to the Gambia, you know. And these businessmen, they always use that in the African countries, not only Gambia, you know, trying to be a perfect person or a perfect friend to the president or the government people. People call them the lobbyists, you know. So when African presidents or governments are not wise, they'll give them the way to penetrate. And when they do that, the people will relax from producing their own thing, you know. Because if you imagine in the Gambia, normally we don't need to import nothing biological anyway, you know. And these are things our old parents, they never needed, you know. A tin of sardine or how to call it, a tin of tomato, and they were living, you know, and they were having the best minerals and best vitamins because it's from our own garden, from our own soil. So what these businessmen do, these big businessmen do, the lobbyists, I would say, the importers, you know, they always don't want the people to grow their own thing, like the Gambia small businesses making poultry and all these things, you know, that's their challenge because those people are making their business bringing less income, you know. So what they would need is they import so that they can sell it direct to Gambians and make their money. So Gambians will be happy without doing anything and buy that, but that is not good, not even for the economy. If you are a clever person, or say when you are good in finance, you know that that is not good for the government. Why? Because every time we import, because of this foreign exchange, that is going to weaken the dollar. So the more you import, the more weaker the dollar. So it will come to a point where you have uh, everything going up, the prices. We call it inflation. You know, when you go to Gambia now, I think people can realize it. When you were buying last year bread for $1, you will pay two. When you were paying high house rent for 200 today, you pay maybe three times of that. You call that inflation in a country. And these are the causes when we import more goods because we have to pay in foreign currencies, you know. So that will weaken the dollar every day, you know. So not only about the economic side, but the people of the Gambia. I mean, when we import these things, they have been in the fabrics. They were tinned and then brought to Gambia. Say sardine. Why should we buy a sardine from the shop? That's where it starts. Hmm? These sardines are from our water. You know, if we get them from there, they'll even taste better. But they'll be brought somewhere in the fabrics, made, you know, and then back to us. So we pay for it. That means we are paying only for the can, for the tin. If you just imagine. you know. So that is the other part of it. What I just wanted to say is to make sure that the government try to see that and don't give only one or two business people to live from the whole economy, but try to support the small businesses who are, especially who are having their poultry, their gardens, and try to produce something made in Gambia. You understand? And that the Gambian people should support those people too, you know, and try to help them and buy their products and not the products from outside, you know. So we have to change this mentality because we focus too much on the West and forget our own identity. You can see it from our own lifestyle. We forget our own identity. We don't even want to show how we look like. That's why we always try to put some things on our heads, you know. And that is psychologically, they used to say, the psychologists say, that is, in German, you say, uh, Minderheits complex, you know. But in,
I'm glad to pick up that German words.
yeah, that is, yeah, Minderheits complex, yeah, you know. So in English, it's just like, yeah, but that is when you don't accept yourself. And we Africans, not Gambia alone, we Africans are common to that. You know, we always try to copy or try to focus on as if here they are living better than what we have. You understand? Because we don't try to understand it. You understand? So when I sell you eggs and say it's from France or it's from Germany, somebody tells you, I have here eggs. It's from Bacau. If you don't mind, they'll buy the one from Germany and France just because of the name. You understand? Because that's where Gambians focus always, you know. But the one from Bacau, eggs are all the same. If you just think, and that's the way we should think also at home, and know that ours are even better. You see, these people, the most expensive goods are the fresh goods. You understand? They are goods that are not in tin, but many Africans don't understand. They cost more because they are more fresh and the vitamins are still there than when they go to the fabric and they'll be killed from the heat. There is no more work. You understand? So these are all things people need to understand first to make the difference. Doesn't mean that everything from Europe or outside is something better than what we have at home. You know, that one we can only know it when we accept our own things, and you know, our identity and everything. We should be proud of ourselves, you know, and not always try to focus what the other people are doing, especially the West. They are not better. You know, time will come, and when we have organized governments, I know Gambia is very small. We can even have. There are African countries doing wonders where Europeans are looking at them, and that is there in Africa, just with an organized government. So I just saw one video, especially the last time I saw a video from this poultry farm. You know, this man was complaining. You know, so I was feeling very sad. And he's there in Gambia trying to support the economy, trying to support the people, you know, but being neglected, especially from the Gambia government. You know, they should focus on them and give them support. And the people also with their gardens, help them and give them support. Because for the government, it's cheaper than always trying to even import. The importers are always having this interest. That's why they are always, most of the time, a friend of president or minister. They know how to do it. You know? If Barros would say now, today we are going to import less rice also, you will see the fight will start because these importers are lobbyists. You know, for them it's better. Nobody produces anything in the Gambia, only what they are importing, and people buy that. That means they are thinking also only for themselves because it's not fair that only one person having billions and the rest of the Gambians don't have anything to eat. You know, that's where we have to think of. I think that's enough first for I can give some to come.
All right, thank you, Alice, for that insight. Sam, you want to add to that?
Yes, Alice, thank you for that. Thank you for opening the door on this, because it's a very, very good topic. And, when it comes to business and investment in Gambia and things like that, and small businesses in mind as well, I always think that, you know, the government really need to get the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade, Chamber of Commerce get together and put some plan together for businessmen and women, but also keeping small businesses in mind. I don't like the fact that in Gambia there are certain things. I've had this in the past. I've heard this in the past that only so and so can bring cement, or only so and so can bring sugar, only so and so can bring this. That's not fair. That's not creating any competition for Gambians, and it really kills the small businesses that are interested in involving in those kinds of businesses. But most importantly, it puts more burden on the consumers, because the consumers don't have very many choices. They only have one choice. You only go to so and so place to get so and so things, and that means that person or that business owner can put his own price, since there's no competition. You know, if there is no competition, and you're the only one selling cement, you can sell it for whatever price you want. And the government and the Chamber of Commerce, Ministry of Finance and Trade are not getting involved to really put some ceiling on certain things and put some price control on certain things, by looking at, all right, if you're importing rice or you're importing uh, cement to our country, um, how much are you getting that cement? How much duty? How much is the shipping and handling? How much is the duty that you pay, the tax that you pay to the government? So as a result, we're going to allow you to make certain percentage, 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever percentage. We're going to allow you to make this much percentage, but not, it should not be over that. Because when you go past that ceiling, that means you're overcharging people. And you're overcharging people because you think you're the only person that can bring this into the country, or because the government opened the door for only you to bring this merchandise into our country. So therefore, you can charge anything you want. That's not that really shouldn't be impacting our consumers. People need to be able to have choices and be able to see where they want to buy things, because there's competition. And where there's competition, the consumers end up with a good deal. And Gambia is a very poor country. People are fighting to make ends meet. People are living from hand to mouth. They're living from paycheck to paycheck, and that one paycheck is not enough for them. I mean, we've all talked about this. They need pay increase. They need pay increase, because the cost of living is really getting more and more expensive. It doesn't get any better. It's getting more and more expensive for people, while the salaries are just still below the what's acceptable. So on the other hand, um, if you think about individuals that also want to own their own business and small businesses, just like the example Alice gave, some people, or if you look at eggs imported from friends from Europe, from somewhere into the supermarket, versus eggs that were from Bakau or Serakunda or Sukuta or somewhere within the Gambia. People look at the brand name. Yep, this is from Europe. I want to buy this, without realizing that the one in from Gambia is probably fresher, because the ones that came from Europe, it went through a lot of things to get to you, and chances are, because most people don't know this, but food has some disciplinary guidelines that need to follow when it comes to food products, eggs. Let's say sugar and flour. Those are and dries are dry goods. Dry goods can be kept at room temperature, no problem. But when it comes to other food, canned goods, milk, for example, and of course, eggs that we're talking about, eggs should not be held at any temperature over 45 degrees. whether it's from the shipping to receiving to storing, eggs should always be at least 45 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. So you don't know, what Gambians don't know is some of the eggs that are imported into our country to these supermarket may have gone through what we call in food safety, what we call time temperature abuse. Time temperature abuse means, anytime that egg that was transported or imported from another country to a country, at any given time, when the temperature of that egg or the pallets of eggs went over 45 degrees, that means that egg is time temperature abuse. If we get that into our country, by the time it lands into our country, and then it get transported from the seaport or airport, wherever it came through, to the supermarkets really taking the time? Do they know food safety that this egg cannot sit out until I finish counting my money? Eggs need to be put in the fridge now, not later, now. And do they know all that? Do they know what the temperature should be? Um, some may not. And I don't know that our health department is really focusing on getting them to look at all of those. And anything that's time temperature abuse, guess what? If it's here in America, no, it's got to go in the trash. You can't use it. You can't have it because it's time temperature abuse. But Gambia, we are allowing these to happen there, and people are buying those eggs and eating them and getting sick without realizing what we're eating is really causing some damage for us. So it's best to buy that egg from the local vendor, the local person. When we say local, meaning somebody that lives in the country. That's what local means. I know in Gambia, we used to joke at each other and say, you're a local person, you're local. Well, local in English means really the person that lives there. So going to a local vendor, somebody from Bacau, Serakunda, Sukuta, or anywhere, Tanjay that has eggs, and buying it from them, maybe fresher eggs, because maybe they just picked those eggs, very, very, just last week, compared to the ones that's been in shipping forever before it gets to Gambia. So all of these are things to consider. But one quick thing for the individual small business men or women in Gambia is, if the supermarkets are selling eggs, let's say a crate of eggs that has a dozen eggs and 12 eggs in a crate. So a crate of eggs, if they're selling it, I'm giving an example, I don't know how much it costs in Gambia, but if the crate of eggs is $20, okay, from the supermarket, and you at home, or you have your own poultry farm, and you pick eggs and you want to sell them, don't try to sell it what the supermarket, don't be greedy. Don't try to sell it for what the supermarket sells for, because the supermarket eggs came from somewhere. They had to pay shipping and handling. They had to pay custom duty to get it out, most likely, in some cases. So they have to add some money to it to be able to sell it for $20 to be able to make money, some margin out of that. Your egg from the Gambia is from the Gambia. You didn't go through any shipping and handling. You did not go through anything, a custom duty to get the eggs out of your home to sell it. So therefore, when you're selling it, you need to know how to do your business. If the supermarket is selling it for 20, I'm going to sell it for 15. You see, this is how you can attract people to come and buy your eggs, because one, they are fresher, and two, they are cheaper because they are made in Gambia. This is what consumers, and not consumers, but businessmen and women need to understand, so that they can manage their business and still be profitable without trying to compete the supermarkets that have to put other costs on top of the cost of their goods. So, at the end of the day, what I'd like to say about this is, again, the government of the Gambia, using the Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Finance and Chamber of Commerce that represents businessmen and women, should really join hands and really educate people. Go to television and do a little bit of sensitizing on businessmen and women and how to run certain business, why certain businesses are different from these businesses, but most importantly, be able to also, in their negotiations or talks, be able to open the door for Gambian people that want to get into business and not limit certain products to only a certain company, and say this company is the only one that's going to sell cement. This company is the only one that's going to import rice into our country. This company is the only one that's going to bring flour or sugar. Those are bad things, because then you can't control how much they're going to sell. If you create competition, the consumers benefit from it, and that's the most important thing for us. We want our consumers to be able to benefit. Since the cost of living is high, they need to be able to have opportunities to buy stuff at a more reasonable price rather than going to the supermarket every time. Yep.
Thank you, Sam.
Very good insight, Sam. Wow. All right, so this topic is really interesting, and I'm gonna contribute a little bit on it and perhaps summarize it in local language. So basically, small businesses we need opportunities, and government can create opportunities for small businesses by giving them tax break. Okay, you encourage business people to invest in your country when you give them tax breaks. That means they're employing people. You give incentive for them to get loans, for them to get taxes on certain things, but lower taxes on certain things, so that they can employ more people, and that will impact on the economy. This is very important. The government has a lot to offer when it comes to small businesses, and if our folks in the government are not doing the right thing, our small businesses will fail. They gotta do the right thing. We should forget about nepotism, give opportunities to the right businesses, give tax break, consider businesses that are willing to employ our people. The unemployment rate in the Gambia is so high. A lot of youngsters are on the street. They didn't choose to be. There is no employment. When there's no employment, what you gonna do? I mean, not everybody is talented enough to create their own thing from scratch. Okay, so employment is a key, and only small businesses can do that. The government has a fixed, a fixed number of positions that are there to serve certain governments or certain areas or certain departments. But through investments, opportunities are open. Business people come and open a store here, employs 5-10 people. That is good. We have many more of that, then our economy will grow. So it's highly important that the government opens up, make sure that they have proper policies in place to encourage small businesses, and also consider giving them tax break, and make sure that these small businesses also give their employee, the same incentive, so that their businesses can grow and they can employ more people and the economy can be flourished. Yeah. But as far as any other things, if we want actually to minimize imports and maximize exports, we have to do more, in all sectors, especially in agriculture. Gambia used to export a lot of, peanuts to a lot of places. I'm pretty sure that has declined. We can export some of the things that we can cultivate in our country, but instead we're becoming an importing. Our system is mostly relying on imports.
Import nation.
How can we just be bringing in? It's not even good for economy. It's not good for foreign exchange. It's not good for a lot of things. So our government need to start thinking. They need to have good economics. They need to start thinking, bringing people on board who can devise ways and give them good economic advices. But bringing businesses that's gonna come and monopolize. This Lebanese, these folks that will come and give you cuts, Chinese, just for your sole, your individual interest. You as a government official, let's say you are working in foreign services or somewhere, you're encouraging these things just because you're gonna get something under the table. But this kind of investment is not even good for the country, because these people are coming in, they monopolize the system, and then they don't even employ our people. So look from inside. Forget about the cuts that you're gonna get under the table. You are a good citizen. You have the country at heart. Why are you focusing on the under table deals? Look at the big picture. What it is that can help. Let's give Alice an opportunity to invest in a poultry, and we give him tax break. Alice would be a role model for a lot of Gambians who can also get into those kind of businesses. Let's give Sam an opportunity to open an electrical shop or something where he gonna employ Gambians. Sam would be a role model to many Gambians as well. And Sam would even employ Gambians. He's not gonna go and exploit Chinese or Lebanese. So we have to start thinking, our government officials, our people in power, our people who are at this position need to start looking at all these bits and pieces and encourage our people. Somebody come with an idea of establishing a business. Support this idea. Look at how they can get loans. They present a demo, and you look at the demo and give them, enhance their ideas, and then give them ways that they can get money and support this business. So this is how country grows. This is how businesses grow. So the government is working alongside with people, regular people with good ideas or good incentive, and give them encouragement, and that helps overall. So I think small businesses are the key to our success. Each and everyone can be a business owner. It doesn't matter you are in the diaspora or you are in the Gambia, and each and every one of us can employ people and grow our economy. We can reinvent. We don't need to reinvent the wheels. What we have, we can use that, enhance on that, and build a better nation. So somebody will after just can you summarize in Mandinka. Na small business or na Gambia la masakunda small business or pruka chance deal itul fanang isi sambo no banko kanyami nkawle discuss. So nanta focus la the government nanta focus la women kan walemu kana ka achieve na business or business la unkono pruka chance deal ikakali tax back. Yaka tax fanko ni ko tele police moja ma employ ni moja ma dokula jama employ, then wo dokula mini be employ la wo betala pour na economy, because wo be menkela wo fana be molel ila molel balundila ibe fon be ko make ko sodla pour ka dañinol ke an ku jamal. So nan na masakunda nanta cool ainanta cool jiben differently. Instead of Lebanese or Lebanon or Chinese or one company buy na J, I found be monopolized. And o Chinese or whatever Lebanese or bala mon higher approval doku kije. So Gambian will take ibe benefit of Mr. Lord abetalala because Gambian doku la fitasi ala jefang. Because usually ninyu bina inila mon le kana. Hanna tra Gambian doku la betala je ibe kala nyu mo dantanet no. So ning na government ka itul ka jimen koro men ka do mala pour ñin dokula ka silo di wala men yan ko bota banku dol kam ni tul ko bo jimen na wala la banku di ya amon fota han saying, because itul be la nafa kunkili nafa la noma par ni o business sifa di na banku di wala ibaje la no banku dingol wol be mol fan wol fanam ben banku dingol lel employé la ni wol fané wol employé wol fanam be mo jama le dañin la wol fanam be skoro spend la Gambia le fanam so Gambia la economy abe tala nyatol so nanta no mindset sifa jibe but nito ko ha ala se business oni nanta in business opportunities so mbaro nga ala support mbaro nkana ala support bari Mr. Gay or Mr. Jeng or jana China or something mbaro nga di wala because abe nyina din abe nyina sort like kickbacks sa nga ala membali opportunity la ntaka Gambia no le deny because alas ta China a Chinese all higher pour wole na ye doko ke ala company to nyama ala force miro abe kala Gambia no le as hana amun company si fala soro abe Gambia no le fulo jibel so na Gambia no jibe wo Gambia no le be siala je but na inita da ya di Chinese all fana no ulbina doko la je be Chinese mono le tala foni ngatra if only ya jiben dal doko men ya lonko iman need ya Chinese moli okay then Gambian will start Gambian all ya so ika employment area ni ka shut down let ntol fongol la moli so nanta ngo mira sifal sot la ko ninga opportunity li yele na small business kana juru business la and no ni alles ite alles government loophole ke alles encourage pour ka business was established mo jamal bide ka alles jibe waran sam iba fala ko anyway sign nin sam sa keno ay ni business sifa so nte fanan be Gambia jam ba keno la le so mari fanan ta ay mira ala miro yirwa ay support so ay ta bank to ye loans nin diala an inanta ta la loan school ya jibe ni mol ni business plan nada ye proposal nin jibe a betata ali a support aka hanna tara whatever like loans nin whatever fanko fee membe kelaje nala business uta nyaro bank su taje but it kana call content mo fe ni morning business idea nada no it didn't make la forget it drop it so umiral sifal nanta start la ka wole na mol ka wole sodo ni ngoke na banko bitala nyaro so left the whole summarize like in manding ka drone yeah. All right, so guys, we can go ahead. I think if you have something to say, we can add it to this. We can go to the next.
I just wanted to say that I just talk about inflation, but I think it's always better when we produce more in the Gambia. Not only one or two people making poultry, but more people, and not only one or two people making gardening, but more people. And the government should support these people also, because we have a very high rate of employment, especially the youths. Most of them don't see any chance there also. So one can blame them sometimes. One can not blame them sometimes because they're there and don't see opportunities. Then they'll try to go to backway or do anything to succeed. But people who are ready to do something, they should be supported. For example, entrepreneurs and so, or trying to make their own carpentry shop or something like that, the government help them, because if not, nobody is going to help them. And helping them is just going to benefit the Gambia. And the government should also make sure that they also try to give premium to people or Gambians who are doing something in the Gambia and employing also Gambian people, and they are producing also something made in Gambia. The government should recognize these things and try to respect it and respect the people and then support them. Like many of them are having their poultry and so. They are doing it for the Gambia. The last time I saw a boy planting rice, I think he's also from Europe, but he's a Gambian. So give him the chance and even if I was Mr. Barrow, I'll give him more space to make more production. The fact that he's feeding the Gambians before we are imported, I think that will help because the people he's going to employ are Gambians, as Mr. Sawaneh said. And that is also going to reduce the employment rate in the Gambia. You know? So I think that is a good point, Mr. Sawaneh. You brought that through. Because when we are talking about unemployment rate in the Gambia, I think that is a good point. These are the things the government should try and you know focus on. You know, it's all good when we are supplied from the West. Somebody, one person is importing that and taking the whole money for his pocket. It's also good, but not benefiting the Gambia and even our economy. You know, and many people used to say, yeah, the prices are so high. For example, true that they don't even eat correctly now. I mean, what I mean by correctly, they are not eating healthy. You have lot of pregnant women. They need in their body a lot of minerals. Things of that sort, vitamins. But most of them cannot afford it. They tell you it's too costly. So to avoid that, we have to get more people producing. You know, because when we have more people producing, that means we have more goods. So the demand will be lower. And that is also economics. Higher the demand, higher the price. Lower the demand, lower the price.
Right.
That's why I advise. I don't know whether you can remember that those days when they were saying the breads are too costly and people are raising the prices and so. And that's exactly what I told them. Let them open more bakeries, then they'll see the price will automatically fall down. You understand? So these are the same things we have to also do. For example, for eggs, garden, and so there is no business without competition. You know, but
Exactly.
you also have to make sure that you survive. You know, it's a cake. Everybody has his own part. So but the government should also try to encourage. I think that they are doing something because I used to see sometimes they used to sow some machines. I don't know how what for agriculture. It's also good. It's a good step. Maybe I mean I don't know exactly whom they gave it and for what, but I saw that there was something somehow, whether it was a donation or whatsoever. But before, people used to produce their own from their own garden, and some are still doing it and selling these things to the hotels. From back out. Many people can do that. We are having a very good soil. You know, why should we import anything and paying more? You know, but I mean, I think things will change. But let us not just leave two importers importing that, making money out of the Gambians, and Gambians just relax and just run to the shop. You know, all what we are buying there, we can have it ourselves behind the garden. That's what I want. And they are more, as Sam said, they are healthy than all these tins and cans. And, because people don't know, maybe from Africa, how these things are made. You know, and that the fresh things are here 3 times costlier than even the tin one. Because these people they know what is in the tin is no more healthy because it's already being heat treated and all. And vitamins and minerals are gone already. So we need to concentrate on that area. That's it. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. Anything, Sam?
Yeah, I'll just add a little bit to what you've said. Some of the things that the government really can do. Not only give tax breaks to small businesses and all of that stuff, but which is a great thing. I'm glad you mentioned that too. The other part that I wanted to focus on a little bit is when the Gambia government is signing a contract with an outside um, company, a company that wants to come to Gambia to establish their business. It's very important for Gambia government officials to look for the interests of Gambia. Okay, not just look for their own interests and how much this company is going to give them to put in their pocket, but in terms of employment, it's very critical. If you look at in America, when an investor wants to bring a business or a company that's already established in America wants to hire workers, you can't go outside of America to go get workers and bring them. Their law does not allow you to do that unless you meet certain criteria. So what Gambian government need to do is, when Chinese company, for example, when they were bringing their fishing trawlers, I've said this in an audio in my forum before, at least about a year and a half ago or so. When they want to bring their fishing trawlers to Gambia to come fish on our waters, one of the things that the Gambia government needed to make sure is in their contract is that, yes, we can allow investors to come in. We can allow companies to come in and do invest in our country or to create some business in our country. But here are our requirements. You list all the requirements that they have to follow. Also list all the rules and regulations that they have to follow. And on top of that, they should also put in that at least 90% of their employees should be Gambians. If they put that in there, that's how they can create an employment opportunity for Gambians. Because really, when an investor is coming to invest and bring a business into a country, yes, they need their expertise, their areas of expertise. They need somebody for certain areas of expertise. When, for example, a Chinese fishing trawler in the Gambia, if they bring in that company, they don't need to go bring all those Chinese people from China to come work in the Gambia to do fishing. They can say, just like in America, when you want to bring somebody from another country to come to work in America, the law asks, do we have Americans who can do that job here first? You know, if the answer is yes, then they're not going to let you have visa for those people to come here. If the answer is no, then what are the requirements? Some of those things are what they call extraordinary people. Extraordinary, those who fall under the extraordinary. For example, the Chinese people can say, well, we need to bring a mechanic because our ships the fishing trawlers were made in China and only Chinese can work on that. That is true. Gambians cannot fix that. Okay. Well, we need a captain for the ship. Yes, Gambians cannot do that because they've not been trained, because this is a skill that requires at least 1 year worth of training. All right. And they can't just come to Gambia and find somebody that can do that. That's fine. We need, they can say they need the controllers inside the ship, controllers, certain people that have to control certain things in there, because everything is written in Chinese. And Gambian people are not going to be able to read the Chinese. That will allow them to bring somebody like that to do that. But you don't need people to be pulling the nets you don't need Chinese people to come in to pull the net to get the fish out. And you don't need Chinese people to drive your trucks for you to the airport or the seaport. You don't need Chinese people to do certain things for you. That all the labor and customer service skills and all the other skills that don't require more than 2 days training or don't require more than 1 week training. All those skills should be jobs that Gambian people should have. Gambia government should not allow Chinese to bring people from China to come drive a forklift for them, or to come drive a truck for them, or to come do certain things for them. They should only bring expertise. And this is how the government can really put their foot down. Anybody that wants to invest in Gambia and say, here are our conditions, take it or leave it. That's it. You take it and you have to follow those conditions. 90% of your employees will be Gambians. This creates job opportunities for our people as well. So I just want to put that on there. So
excellent.
Thank you both for what you said.
Yeah, excellent point. So we excellent point. So we with the for the benefit of time, we're just gonna move on to the second segment of this conversation of this show, which is the health issue that our young men and women are facing. As you know, like in recent years, a lot of we've been losing a lot of young folks because of medical reasons, and we wish to have a medical expert here on the show, but we were not able to get any confirmation. So, but in the future, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be planning about bringing one so that this person can, discuss with us some of the precautions that we need to take as young folks, so that we can, work ahead of time on some of these illnesses or diseases that we probably, encounter without knowing. And the reason why we are saying young people is because the life expectancy of younger people is higher because they're young, right? But when you started getting old, then you definitely yourself knows that, hey, it's a matter of time. I wouldn't be in this world, which is normal because that's how life is. Nobody's gonna live here forever. But at least while we're here, we can do our best to stay healthy by doing the right things and leave everything in the hands of God, right? So that being said, it's very important for us to discuss and bring awareness of how important it is to go and do medical checkups, kind of identify issues before they happen. It's very important. It's like being proactive. Don't just feel like you are healthy, you are okay, and you're never gonna get sick. So you don't go and find out. Or don't feel scared that when you go and check, you're gonna hear something, or you're gonna find out something about your health that is gonna be stressful or that you wouldn't like. It's better to find out something than to actually, you know, get something, too late. Get into something that will be too late to recover or to survive from. So this is the mindset that we need to have, and especially men. Women actually, they are a little better going to clinics because perhaps some of this issue has to do with their pregnancies and so forth. You know, so but men, usually we feel that we are strong, we don't need this, we don't need that. So it's important that we explore this. So I'm gonna allow our panelists to get into this and then see what they can advise our viewers.
Yeah, Mr. Sawaneh, thank you very much. You are very right. Women are strong now. So that's why we are very sensitive to anything about weakness. You know, you don't want to be weak in any way. But yeah, I mean, that's normal. And this mentality gives us also a lot of problems. You are right. People need to go for checkup. You know, even here in Germany, I think with 35 or so, you'll be written even from your doctor if you don't go. Because they make it as a law. Then you have to go to your doctor to make a certain test like prostata and so, sometimes very shameful, but it's your own health, to see, they can see, then they call it here Vorsorge, so that they can also see whether there is a sign of something coming later. Because, you mentioned it, youths are not that sensitive and they are not having a lot of problems like when people getting older. Because you're getting older, your cells are getting weak. So there, you are open for everything. You can see it from the corona. When youths have it, sometimes it's complicated, sometimes not. When old people have it, they just go. So that's why I used to advise everybody in the Gambia, young or old, wear your mask, wash your hands, take care. Corona is still there. No matter what you hear or anybody fooling you, you have to be careful. And don't rely on any other statistics. So I advise the men also, when we don't have it as a law in the Gambia, to go themselves, especially being the age of 35 going up, to make more of checkups. You know, we should not be ashamed. You know, to be sick doesn't mean that you are weak, and that is our problem. That's why many men don't want to show that they are sick, because when they say they are sick, they are going to be seen as weak at that moment. And our mentality, you said it, we are the strongest. No, we are. But there's only one health what God gives you. So you have to take care and try to make sure that you have the best of it. Yeah. So you're right. Women go because they are oft there, especially when they are having birth, also childbirth, and so they have to go regularly to checkups and so. And women are generally more open if you just see it, in such things. They can tell you I'm sick earlier than a man telling you that I'm sick. So maybe that's why the women they go to the doctor quicker than the man. I only know that many of our men died because they had a problem, you know, like prostata or something like that, and hiding it. They are even ashamed to go to the doctor and say that, look, I'm having problem with my private parts, because it's not our culture. They used to say, or our mentality. But when it comes to health, I used to say, let us forget about religion, mentality, culture. You have only one life, and try to preserve and protect it. That's my advice, and I, I I always advise the people, especially these times of this world, that everybody is trying to see how to survive. When people come to Gambia, they think there is nothing like Corona. I used to hear it from a lot of people. You know, there is something, and people are dying, just that we don't want to talk about it. And the people who have it are also ashamed even to say that. Which is very normal. To have Corona is no weakness; it's a sickness. When presidents are having it and coming openly and say it, then I see no reason why should a Gambian have that and try to hide that, and infect the whole family. And later you hear, yeah, he died, and yesterday was buried, and then my mother was buried. Things like that. Things like that will show you that there was something going on. But you will never hear anything about Corona because we are too civilized, we are too strong. We should not say that. Many compounds will tell you, let us not talk about it because people will say our compound is Corona compound. Things of that stupidness. People don't wear masks. If you wear a mask, they will look at you. They'll say, why are you wearing masks? You know. So people wearing masks should ask them, why are you not wearing masks? It should be the other way around, but they don't understand the whole thing. That's why I think we need more information from the side of the Minister of Health. They used to say QTV used to inform the people. I used to hear that, but I don't think it's enough, or people don't take the time to hear what they're saying. There must be something wrong somewhere. That the people don't know what's going on. Whether on who is responsible, that's the question again. Is the Gambia government doing a lot to inform the people about this thing? Not even to wait till they see maybe a film about COVID in QTV or something like that. Or the Minister of Health is making a great big campaign to inform the people up to the localities. Not that people hear about COVID only about this platform, only from this platform. Because we've been warning the people since the phase one. And what we used to say is real. And what we are saying today is also real. Look at Senegal, our neighbors. We cannot say that we are having sun in Gambia, so we don't have cold. Then Senegal don't have sun. And that is just some kilometers. So it should be very unwise to even think of, that way. Everybody knows that it's a hard period when COVID is there. Most of the businesses, they are gone. Even in Germany here, most of them, they have to close. The government pushes money, but most of them cannot sustain it. They have to close. So we don't even have that in the Gambia. It's good. We leave the people to go and make their businesses and so, but they have to take these precautions. For example, they have to use masks. But there is another politics going on. Some people used to make videos throwing it, the people telling you should not wear masks, things like that. Last time somebody sent me one. I just see this is these blue ones, no? said, yeah, they're telling the people they should not wear that, and trying to see, quote the prophet, he cannot even name the prophet properly, to make sure that, it's from Senegal, there is a way of threatening people too, because they used to take the unconsciousness from the people as advantage, or the believing of the people to the religion as instrument, as a tool, and saying if you don't send this video, then if you send it, you may God da la 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 la. If you don't send it, then you will have a lot of problems, la 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 la. Because the prophet said that. So if you are conscious, you know that these people are just playing. Our time of the prophet, where there is masks, there you know that they're just foolish, So and many people used to believe such nonsense also, forget about their health and throw away this mask and tell you COVID is over, you know. But I always used to advise people they have to be careful. We don't have a lot of medicine. We are not okay. I don't know this. Even if you go to how to call it, well, Victoria, what are you going to have? There is no respiratory thing or anything. People don't even have masks. We don't have. That's why we should be more careful than anybody. But we are doing the opposite. And following these false statistics from MRC, I don't know. I mean, it's not false because they also only count the people who went there, who took the taxi and go there. Then they'll say, okay, 2 people came. So Gambia have 2, which is very incorrect, and everybody should know that is incorrect because the information is not correct. So the people dying under the beds or taking mango leaves and try to cure themselves behind the house, they are not counted. And people are dying. If you see the announcements of death sometimes, we tell you that there is something going on definitely in the Gambia. Because you cannot have 3 people within 1 week in a family. And this is normal in the Gambia. And then you'll never hear anything about Corona. So let us try and see that we inform the people. If the Gambia government is not ready to do it, we can do that. That's what we are doing here also. I hope that God will pay us because we used to inform the people. I think that's the third time we talk about it. If everybody is doing that and try to protect our relatives, our sons and brothers in the Gambia, I think God will help them too. Let them know that Corona doesn't mean that business will not go on, but they have to protect themselves.
Very good.
That's what I wanted.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you very much for that insight. You nail it, or you hit it on the nail. Definitely. When it comes to medical, we need to explore everything and then confront every issue we have. All right, Sam, you can come in, Sam. What is your take?
Well, thanks, Alice. Thanks to you too, both of you, definitely. Medical is very, very important, and I think I am going to start with the government. By asking the government, they need to think about ways that they can attract and convince doctors to come into Gambia by also having good medical and the entire healthcare reform. The healthcare reform is long overdue in Gambia. There are certain things that are not happening because there's not a good healthcare system. Healthcare really need to be reformed so that as part of the reform, that the government can attract doctors to come in who are specialized in certain areas. Because we all know in Gambia, you have a doctor that does everything. They do everything. Whether they specialize in that or not, they will do it. And that really shouldn't happen. If you think about it in America here, I know every doctor is specialized in their area, and that's their area of expertise. That's the area that they focus on, and that's the only thing they're gonna do. If you come up, even if they're your family doctor, you go to them and it's something that they're not specialized in, they will refer you to the right people, the right doctor that is specialized in that. Because one, they don't want to take the risk in touching and doing something that's wrong, because you have the ability to turn around and sue them for what they did wrong. So therefore, they will not do what they are not supposed to do. You see, that's not happening in Gambia. Doctors are touching everything that they're not supposed to touch, and things that they are supposed to touch. So therefore, and you know why? Because if they touch or treat you with something that is not right, and you die, nothing comes out of it. We just say, well, his time is up. God said, this is the time, his time is up. Nobody looks at what happened, what caused that, and to be able to see if there was any malpractice anywhere so that we can sue this doctor and set an example so that they won't do this again. Otherwise, that doctor is going to continue to do the same thing to other people. Whether he knows the area or not, he's going to try. People like to try, and trying, you don't try and play with people's life. So an entire healthcare reform need to happen so that the government can attract doctors to come in. You have people that are specialized in being or pediatricians, for example, and you have family doctors, family physicians, you have eye doctors, you have gynecologists for the women. You have all of these doctors that are specialized in certain areas. If we have all of those, and as part of the healthcare reform, the government really need to make it a point that all government employees are insured with insurance that allows them to do free medical checkups. If they have those free medical checkups, now they will be able to get up and go check, because that $3,000 salary is not enough right now, is cannot feed them with their family. They struggle to make ends meet every month. So a little headache here and a little bit of a nausea and vomiting is not going to take them to the hospital. They won't know, even though it comes and go. That's a sign for something. Okay. And they will not go check it because they don't want to spend that money to the hospital, even though it's their health is important. And people need to understand, it's just like when you have a car, every part in that car has a function, starting with the battery that starts the car. Think about the engine oil, you think about the transmission oil, you think about the engine coolant that really cools the vehicle. You think about all the fuel injectors, and you think about everything that's in the car. They all have a function, just like everything in our bodies, our heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, the pancreas, you name it. They all have their functions. Uh, if we don't do our normal checks to see, to do preventive maintenance, is in other words, it's called preventive maintenance. As we all know, we all say prevention is always better than cure. You do not wait until you collapse and then you go to the hospital. Then they find out that you don't have any blood. Your blood is, you're very low in blood. You should have seen those signs and symptoms in your body some time ago. Something would tell you that something is happening, just like when you're driving a car and an engine light comes on. That engine light means something. Something is going bad. Something is wrong. If you don't stop and check it, one day it's just not going to work. If you go in the morning to start your car and you turn your ignition key on to the ignition and you go like this to start the car and you go, whoa, 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 that is an indication that if you don't do something with your battery or check your starter, something is going to happen. One day that car is not going to start. It's just like that. If you have too much oil in your car, it's going to damage your car. If you have less oil, the car is going to come to a stop and it won't go. It will lock up the engine. You're going to need to replace your engine. So things like that happen. We need to look at examples like that when it comes to people, and really do preventive maintenance by going to the doctors at least once a year and go do a check. Let them take your urine sample, your blood sample, take it to the lab and check all those things that make things go wrong. Your cholesterol, your potassium, all of the things that they need to check. Let them check all of that. and give you, yes, you're in good shape, or no, you have something, we need to do this, this, and that, and let the doctor prescribe what needs to happen, or tell you you need to start eating more of this. You need to stop doing more of it. You need to stop salt. Salt is not good for you. Too much sugar is not good for you. Too much salt is not good for you. Doctors are the ones that know all this. They can tell. We're not doctors. We can't tell you all that, but we know that, when symptoms come, symptoms are telling you something is wrong or something is about to happen. If you don't take action, that's when that something will come. And when it comes, usually it's costly and it could be deadly. So this is part of the reason why people need to take health very seriously. Women, when they get pregnant, really start to see your gynecologist. Don't wait until you're 6 months ahead. Go see your gynecologist. The sooner the better, the earlier the better. You talk to them, they tell you when you need to go see them. You go see them at that time. Let them do all the preventive measures, and take all precautions to make sure that that baby is going to be a healthy baby, and you're going to deliver that baby with good health yourself without any complications. These are things that gynecologists can tell you. And so women need to be encouraged to really get out of that house and go see a doctor. Men, we need to see a doctor too, because we're at the head of the household. We need to make sure we're healthy enough to take care of our families, and don't sit until you collapse and then go to the hospital. When you collapse, that's too late. That means it's too late. You've already waited on too long. Something was happening in your system. You've already noticed symptoms in your head, on your mind, in your body. You should have noticed something that happened in the past that you didn't check, you didn't take seriously, and you lay down, you slept, you got up, and it was okay. You took paracetamol maybe and made the headache go away. You think it's okay, and you get up and go back to your business again without realizing you're jeopardizing your own health. So we need to make sure that we think outside of the box. But all of this can work best if the government has the healthcare reform and encourage more doctors to come in, more specialized doctors come into our country. Some definitely to work in the hospital, but also a good healthcare reform and providing all of these and encouraging people for checkups will encourage even Gambian doctors to come and establish their own clinics in Gambia, because they can operate their businesses in Gambia, help our people at the same time stay in business. So it's very important for our government to take the lead on this, on healthcare. Very, very important, because if you think about it, um, if you look at a 50-year-old in Gambia compared to a 50-year-old Gambian in America or in Europe, you can tell the difference. Correct me if I'm wrong. You
No,
can
you
Yes,
are
tell the
right.
difference.
You are
yes,
right.
yes, yes.
Because
Okay.
I used to say,
Because
I'll say something there, Sam.
yeah, okay.
Here, people are looking for more vitamins and vegetables, even if it does not taste. Being in the Gambia, you can see if you cook benachin, for example, you put a lot of meat and a lot of vegetables. So which is going to be left over? The vegetables will be the last, you know, if it is even touched. So we have this mentality too at home. I was like that also. That we concentrate on the meat and the rice and the oil and these are not good for our health. These are not good for our health. If you cook benachin without oil, even you'll hear, oh, how can you cook such a benachin even without oil? And they should be happy that there is no oil, because this oil is going to sit in your uh, whole system. Then you start to have cholesterol, and all these sicknesses. People don't know that what we are eating most of the time is making us sick.
Right. And all of that comes from a good healthcare system. A good healthcare system also advises people. There will be healthcare topics on television that they will frequently go to GRTS and our programs, weekly programs, having doctors talk about certain things and educate people, let people know what's good for them and what's bad for them, and do all those things. And not only that, having good doctors in the country as well after the healthcare reform, the doctors are gonna advise you what not to eat too much of and what to eat too much of, and things like that. So, and this is why. But not only that, yes, what we eat makes a big difference. But when you take your health seriously and you do medical checkups, you do preventive checkups, you tend to be in much better shape. It's just like when you maintain your vehicle, you do preventive maintenance on your vehicle. The vehicle tend to stay longer with you and operates better and continue to run better for you, or run for you, versus a vehicle that never has any maintenance, and not even the oil filter get changed. You don't do oil change, and you don't change your air filter. The air filter gets sucked up with a lot of dust and grass and dry grass and all kinds of things, to a point the vehicle cannot operate very well, because you can feel it when you change that oil filter. I mean, the fuel filter, no, air filter, I meant to say. When you change that air filter out of that vehicle, you can see how smooth that vehicle runs. People don't may not realize all this, but if you know about cars, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. It's the same thing when people get sick, or you get something chronic. Unfortunately, smokers, I'm gonna say smoking is a very bad habit. If you can quit it, quit today. Really, if you're smoking, you can quit. Just quit. It's not good for you at all. It causes more damage than good for you. So the best thing is really quit smoking and try to build your health. Your goal should be to be there for your family, support them as long as you can, for as long as you can, and smoking does not help for you to stay there that long. So these are things that doctors will advise you, and we all know this, and smokers, they should know that too. But it's always good when they have that time to go to the doctor and doctor tells them quit smoking. It's always good than not going to the doctor and nobody tells you other than what you hear from the street. People tell you smoking is bad, and you say, hey, you know what, forget it. And so has smoked, and he's already 70 years old. That's a
Right.
bad thing. It's not what works for so and so may not necessarily work for you. You may have some other complications you don't know until you go to the doctor. So going to the doctor is really of paramount importance, and we all need to take that seriously. But the government is what need to take the lead in this.
Sam, thank you very much. But I just wanted to add something to it. Um, I mean, the difference, you can also see it. 50-year-old person in Gambia and 50-year-old person in America or England or here. Stress alone can make somebody get old. You know, this stress people are having, you know, I mean, it's very sad, but most of them have to try to see that they feed the family every day, and the money is not enough. They never have sound sleep. They're always thinking of tomorrow, how the day will be. So all these things are caused because of poverty sometimes. So sometimes you cannot blame the people because if they have only $10 in their pocket, for example, thinking of what to give the family for a lunch, you know, not even tomorrow, but for the day. So sometimes they find it difficult to even take that $10 to go to the doctor with it. So that in that case, they are also playing with their head, not because they want it, but the situation is forcing. So sometimes it's very sad, but it's like that. And here maybe no matter what, you can still go and visit a doctor or something like that. Like Germany, you can still go. If not, sometimes you are even forced to. Because if you get sick, you are going to make the others also sick. You see this mask now, starting from this week, is by force. I mean, this mask, what these people are making with their foolish videos. Even here in Germany now, you have to. You should not wear any other, but only that one and the white ones. If not, you have to pay a lot of money for it. So that is just to show you that these people, they take it very serious, not like in our place. And we all know when we get sick, there is no doctor, there is no medicine. So why should we play with our health? That's what I cannot understand. Some are trying to make politics with it or feeling too good to wear masks because they don't look good, you know. That's what I just said at the beginning. We don't prioritize sometimes things that are important for our life, but things that makes us look good, you know. And the other thing is the whole world talk about always. Our whole life is being led by economy, 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 economy all the time, and the economy bar is being raised every time higher, and we always have to do more to be alive. One have said our suffering is always mental and physical thinking, way of thinking. If we had the brain of a earthworm, he said, then we'll be very peaceful and satisfied with our life. So that means all what we are doing today for suffering is our thinking, the way we think, and the way we see life, the way we see happiness, the way we see sickness, the way we see health. You know, above all, we have to think of health is okay because without health we cannot go anywhere. If you don't have health, the money will not taste, the food will not taste, the family, the wife will not taste, nothing will taste. So your health should not be played with. You know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So I just want to add before we close, folks, watching, follow us on our Facebook page and share the discussion. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Without a healthy nation, there wouldn't be a wealthy nation. If Gambia really serious about being wealthy, to build a wealth nation, we should focus our resources on health. We are talking about, building infrastructure. Yes. Nice city. Yes. Building tunnels. Yes. Building bridges. Yes. Building roads. Yes. Those are important. I'm not ruling that out. But what I'm trying to say, good hospitals are very important. Healthy populace, very important. Because if you don't have healthy populace, you wouldn't have people that would work effectively, even if you have opportunities for these people. So it's very important that our government look at social infrastructure. I always stress this. Social infrastructure, we invest on that. An example of a social infrastructure is these health issues that we're talking about. Sam mentioned something about having employees having good insurance. This is very important. Imagine a government employee who cannot sustain his health. How is he going to work effectively? He might even be working while sick. Is he going to cover his job? No. Everyone should be entitled to have a good insurance so that they can go and do a checkup. This is 21st century. Okay? We cannot rely heavily on local medicine. Local medicine don't actually, most of the time they don't solve or help problem instantly. They can build immune system. Local medicine can help you, build your immune system, make you, resistant to other stuff. But medicines that make you your headache go away would be pills. Instant solution to a medical condition would be Western medicines. And if we don't encourage checkups, we are risking our people's life. We are. Somebody can have hypertension. Somebody can have diabetes. Somebody can have, cholesterol problems, they would not know. Somebody can have kidney problem, they would not know. And if that person knew about, sorry, I think Sam missed out. Okay, if that person knew about those conditions, he could have acted. The person could have acted and perhaps, get some treatment. But no, we don't have a facility. We don't have the education. We don't have the guidance to do checkups. So that is the result why many of our youngsters are getting issues and they get dying from it. You can be skinny like Alice or like Sam and still have cholesterol problem. You wouldn't know. I've had friends who just discovered they have cholesterol problems, but they are not even heavyweight. You can be skinny and have a heart problem. You wouldn't know. They are not heavyweight. So it's not that every person who is heavy is one who is likely to have those conditions. No, that's not. And the only way you're gonna know that you have those health issues is by testing. Annual checkup. It's called annual checkup. You go and do your entire physical, making sure your sugar level is okay. If you know that your sugar level is on the borderline, guess what? You will control taking sugar. That would help. You don't even need to take a medicine. You will know that I'm a recipient. I can be a person who can get diabetes. Hey, let me watch what I eat. You will perhaps abandon most of the sugary things. If you know that you are a candidate of hypertension, you're gonna be watching yourself. You're probably gonna get a blood pressure cuff. And watch yourself. What are the food that I eat pump my blood pressure? Or stay away from stress because I could get attacked. And you probably would be given medicine that you will take every day. You can take that medicine for the rest of your life and you wouldn't have an issue. Because you know why? That will control your blood pressure. So these are some of the education that our people need to know. But our people are dancing on the street, on this political platform. They're dancing their heart out for these politicians who don't care about them, who will never care about them when they come to the office. And they're risking their lives. They don't even know that they have hypertension. They don't even know they have diabetes. They don't even know they have this thing. This politician will never, ever even care to even see them in the hospital when they are sick. So it's about time we people, at least we people who are aware about this thing, that's why we are sharing this information on this platform to guide our people. Listen, go for a medical checkup. If anybody has this knowledge, you have 10 people under you, schedule for them, invest your money. If they don't have checkup places in the Gambia, send them somewhere. Monthly checkup, send them yearly checkup in Senegal or Burkina Faso, wherever you can. I'm telling you, it is very important, especially with the kind of food that we eat now, especially with the environment we are. Sickness is like at the arm's length. You can develop anything. You have kids, I'm telling you, 16 years old, 14, 15, having diabetes nowadays. You have kids under 18 having hypertension. You have kids because the world has changed. Our eating pattern has changed. Our everything has changed. We are not like years ago when our forefathers live long, long years. They don't have to, because they need eat natural food. They had natural environment. They didn't have all this pollution, and there ain't that many sickness in this world, like COVID. So I think it's very important, our government, the reason why we always mention government, because they are the people who oversees us, our day-to-day operation. So this government will be hammering on them on informations that we have so that it sinks. If they decide to take it, that's fine. If they don't, hey, the information has been said somewhere. We are not partisan or none of those. We just want our information to reach to the right people, which is our folks, and to benefit from it. So health is a concern. Besides building good hospital and everything, people have to take it upon themselves to do a checkup. It doesn't cost much. If you have a family member in diaspora, call them and tell them before they send you a cell phone, before they send you all these expensive things, call them and tell them, I need my medical checkup. Help me with $50 or $100. I'm pretty sure they will be kind enough to do that. So this is what I have to say, and we can, if you guys have any final word, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, Mr. Sawaneh, I just wanted to add something to it. If the government of the Gambia wanted to help the people, I think it will be a very good idea when the government says, okay, these checkups, the Gambia government is responsible for that. That's the least one can do for the health of the people, to ease everybody, because many of them are not having this money to do it. When doctors and their apotheques are asking a lot, I can understand certain people when they don't even try because they don't have it. And when they don't have anybody to help them, then they stay home. This is also a disadvantage, and not fair at all. So like here, for example, there are certain things the government will take care of it. And they are going to force you to go and do that. Then you are also responsible to go and do that. So when the Gambia government can afford that, that's the least one can do for his people to make it free for everybody at a certain age, especially the age where it gets critical, to go and make checkups. I think that will be very fine when the Gambia government can do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sam, final word?
Yeah, just like I said, Alan just said what I said earlier. If the government really, this needs to start with the government with the healthcare reform, and in the reform, there's a lot of bits and pieces that come together, and among those will be, providing free medical checkup for all government employees. And in that reform also, there are things that can be put into legislation, when it comes to other institutions that are not government, where there could be a requirement for medical insurance, medical and dental. So people will be required to have those so they can do their medical and dental checkups, and certain things that will be covered, especially what the government covers for all government employees. It should be free for annual checkup. It really should be free for all government officials and government employees, whether you are a minister or a laborer or a carpenter that works for the government. You should have the same free medical checkups that need to be done. So, just to make a long story short, you both said a lot of good things in here. At the end of the day, this is something the government should lead, and lead by example, and make everybody follow. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. I think this was a very
Thank you, sir.
conversation, and a lot of people are saying that this is a good platform. So let's continue sensitizing our folks. I mean, about issues that matters, and we encourage people to call and then contribute to the show. It's very important, and we're gonna have inviting more people in the future to discuss on issues like this. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sawaneh.
Yeah, thank you.
you,
All.
Sam.
Later,
Take care, Americans.
Yeah, take care. You all take care.
all right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.